As a kid, I was obsessed with knights. Knights, horseback, the whole Arthurian legend. I've said it on this channel before. If it's got anything to do with King Arthur, I am there. So, of course, I loved Wizards and Warriors and Ghosts and Goblins. I never realized how similar those titles were until I set them back to back. Anyway, Ghosts and Goblins was one of my favorite NES games. Well, to be fair, I actually kind of hated the game, but hey, it had a knight. And he had a fabulous beard. And it had a bit of a sense of humor for as difficult as it was, like running around in your underwear. And this is a title I could never get through except for one time. I'm going to go ahead and tell the story now while I show you some gameplay footage of the version of the game we're talking about today. Just bear with me, please. So as a kid, I could never get past the second level of the game. And then one night, I don't know what it was, I was just playing it, and finally, I beat the second level. And then I beat the third level, but it took me hours to do. So I ended up pausing the game, turning the TV off, going to sleep, getting up the next day and started playing it again. And lo and behold, I made it to the end of the game and won. And of course, this is before the internet, this is before I saw anybody beat the game, and I get that room telling me to go back to the beginning of the game and try again. I promptly turned the game off and didn't play it again until years later when I picked up Ghouls N Ghosts on the Sega Genesis. Me and my nephew sat down playing that one, and once again we only got 2 or 3 levels in, but we had a blast. It was soon after that I found out that Ghouls N Ghosts also had a port to the Master System. Now it's essentially the same as the Sega Genesis game, but there's one big difference. You and I, us normal people who are just playing games to chill out, we can beat this version. I'm not saying it's easier, but there's certain things that make it easier. And by certain things, I mean one thing in particular, and that is the inclusion of a store. There will be a treasure chest that pops up, and sometimes it'll make a wizard come out and make the game harder. But every couple of times, I don't remember, there was a pattern. It was like 4 or 5 times. Instead of a wizard, you get a door. You could go into a store. You could purchase a helmet, which would give you magical abilities. New set of armor, which will let you take more hits. And my favorite, boots. Boots make you run faster, and that's something I'm going to tell you that is integral to the game, because when you start this game up, it seems like a very slowed down and choppy versions of Ghouls and Ghosts. That is not what's going on. You need to get those boot upgrades. Now, the manual of the game says if you mix and match the different armor styles, because they go in colors like blue and gold and all this, that it can have a devastating effect on your character. I've never done that. I've always just upgraded everything all the way, so I can't say whether or not that's true. But the boots, the gold boots, or as me and my nephew like to call them, the boots of blast processing. You start the game slow as shit, but once you got the boots of blast processing, you're almost too fast for the game. Now, the armor upgrades are nice. It's nice to be able to take more than 2 hits. However, from about the 3rd level on, everything will either one-hit kill you, or the game has such knockback that it'll knock you back into something that will one-hit kill you. So those armor upgrades are nice, but they don't make the game that much easier when you take that into consideration. The helmet upgrades are the real game changer, because each upgrade gives you a different magic spell. The first few can do damage to different enemies, like fireballs and such, but it's that last one of the last upgrades, invincibility. That's the game changer. If you really want to cheese your way through this game, you can pretty much just spam that towards the end of the game, take no damage, and just plow through this game. But hey, maybe you don't want to play it that way. Maybe you just want to play an 8-bit version of the Sega Genesis Ghouls N Ghosts. No problem. Ignore the store. If you're going to sit here and tell me that, oh, this version of the game's too easy, ignore the store and it's going to be a lot harder. Music in this game is top-notch, as it has been throughout this franchise, but it doesn't sound quite as good as its 16-bit Big Brother does, with one exception, the Decayed Village theme. I'm going to come right out and say it. The 8-bit version of the Decayed Village theme is better than the 16-bit version. Seriously though, if you want to play an 8-bit Ghouls N Ghosts game, I'd say it's a little bit better than the NES game, just because it's a little bit more accessible, though that game is considered a classic by most. And I'm just going to say, if you're like me and you only went through one playthrough of that game, you still beat that game because it's so ridiculously hard. But if you want one that is, again, more accessible, easier to play, or can be easier to play, go ahead and pick it up on the Master System. This is a fantastic title. Shouldn't be missed. And again, if you think it's too easy, play through it. Get the upgrades. If you think, oh, it's way too easy, then try playthroughing it again, but totally ignore all the upgrades and see how you do. Then you can really earn your nerdy bragging rights that nobody cares about. So, if you're looking for a good challenge, you've already played Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, grab Ghouls and Ghosts yet again on the Sega Master System. I don't think you'll be disappointed if you're a fan of this franchise.